Cincinnati at Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers now 1.5. Opened at 2.5. Didn't make sense. We flagged it on Sunday that the Bengals should not be 2.5 point dogs. Moved all the way down to one. Professional money moved the Bengals. It's now back up to 1.5, 1.5.
Yeah,
Um,
I love the Chargers.
uh, dude, it's so weird that you say that because I know that we have a soft spot for the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and we don't like betting against them.
No.
But like we have been avoiding this Chargers team because their stat lines in each game are relatively even and they don't do anything remarkable. They're beating bad teams. Their losses are to teams that are like above average offensive grades across all the geeky advanced metrics that make us feel better. But the thing is, they also don't do the stupid things
Yeah.
that tend to grow those pits in our stomach, right? They don't get the bad penalties that the Rams got this week. They don't get the missed field goals that the Niners got this week. They're not inconsistent like the Colts. They don't have high variance play calls that make us crazy. They don't have turnovers. They're
That's the
like
biggest one to me. They don't do the dumb turnovers, which has
they,
been plaguing them for years.
it's boring, predictable football.
Yeah.
So this was going to be my exec decision. Um, so I love that you like the Chargers here too. Give me your logic.
Yeah, for a lot of what you just said, the matchup wise too, I think is really good for this team. I know the Bengals just shut down the run kind of last week with the Ravens team, but that's not who they are. They're not good against the run. And I think that's going to be really telling this game that they're basically going to use the run to set up the pass. And that's why Herbert's been so great this year. Like that middle of the field is so open because these linebackers have to step up because they have to respect the run. And that's really unlocked a lot of stuff he wants to do this year because we know that Herbert's deadly accurate. His biggest issue has just been the consistency. He's been inconsistent, and Harbaugh has found a rhythm with him that he knows when he needs an easy one to get going. Like when he needs just a little short 2-yard dump off to his tight end just to get him in a little bit of a rhythm. And it's worked out. Like even when he's out of sync, I've watched other games where he gets him back in sync with a couple easy calls like that. So when a coach and a quarterback are in tandem like that, it's great. It's like they both know what they need to kind of get this thing to work. On the flip side with this Bengals team, we talked Sunday night where it's like, okay, this number is 2.5. And my first thought was just going to be, this is going to be that biggest public side of the week. Like everyone's going to come in on this Bengals team for what you just talked about. It's the fun, sexy team, the high flying offense. This team just put up whatever it was, 35, 34 points against the Ravens on Thursday night. Like it makes sense why the public would like this team so much. But to me, looking at this matchup, that number made sense at 2.5. It's like 2.5, 3. That's what I would make this Chargers team because there is no real home field advantage for them here, but I just think they're the better team overall. So the movement, that's what makes me like it so much. It's like this is real good value on this Chargers team, even if this doesn't win for us because, say T. Higgins does come back, Chad, maybe we'll get even better of a number. That's why it's like you don't have to rush to bet this number now.
No.
I'm taking it now just because I could see professional money coming on this Chargers team because of what we just talked about. Like matchup-wise, this is actually a really nice matchup on paper for this Chargers team, not just offensively, but defensively as well. I mean, Joe Burrow, I guess he didn't have that much pressure last week, but we've seen him struggle against teams that can't put pressure on him, especially like you talked about earlier, that Eagles team. That's how they kind of dominated them in that second half. Once they started getting pressure on him, there's not much they could do. So be patient with this one. Like if T. Higgins comes back, maybe this flips. Maybe even that's what we really would love to happen. If we get a +1.5 on this Chargers team, because this is going to be, it's Sunday night. This is all the teasers, especially people getting 7.5 right now on their teasers with this Bengals team. It's all going to be tied in to this Bengals team. So a line I'm happy to be patient with, but it's definitely one that, if it's either a big balls or foxhole bet on Thursday, I would not be shocked.
I would expect T. Higgins to be back. All indications are
Maybe, but
that
that contract thing is real. Like he's missed what now, 4 or 5 games this season?
yeah, it's true.
If he's not totally good, he's like, why would I risk it? Like I got to make sure I'm good head into the offseason because that's when I'm going to get paid. So that to me has been a very interesting underlying story here where he's been picking and choosing on the games he's playing because he's like, if I'm not 100%, I'm not risking it.
Look, you're so smart. And from a negotiation perspective, it becomes clearer and clearer every single week how important he is to this team.
Yeah.
Like they're winning when he's playing, they're losing when he's not. He makes such a massive difference in how defenses can defend against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and they're going to have to go pay for someone else to do that, or they can keep T. Higgins. Really, that is interesting. Now we're talking. All right, well, we're going to hold a pin in that one. I really enjoyed this past Sunday when all of our games were decided by 1 o'clock, except for one, and so Sunday night was a bit of a reprieve from our contest. But I don't know that that's going to happen. It feels
Yeah,
like we're
might
going to
probably
end
not.
up on the Chargers. I feel like you're not wrong. Steelers, Chiefs, Chargers. Like I think we already lean a little bit Colts. We could see Atlanta come in here. I wouldn't be afraid of the Rams. Like, this is getting interesting.
Yeah, I was saying Lions 12.5 is super tempting.
Oh my God, the Lions 12 and a half. It makes no sense not to do that. It just doesn't. Um, uh, Matt Mitchell, I'm just confirming for everybody. Kansas City was my exec decision in case people missed that. Simon and I had a very lengthy discussion about whether or not I should do it or I'd be mushing them.